Hey guys, Sunny D here. I'm going to show you how to do a very quick kids cut at home. This is just a cleanup cut. This is no fading. It's just to shorten up the sides. For this project, you will need a pair of clippers with a number 3 guard and maybe a pair of lineup clippers if you have them. A brush or a comb, ideally a comb, but if all you have is a brush, all you need is a brush. You're just going to be brushing the hair down. You're gonna clip it and then comb it down. Clip it and then comb it down. A water bottle and a nice sharp pair of shears. If you don't have the shears, you can skip this part, but this is just to clean up the front of the hairline. This is Oliver, my middle child. He has agreed to be the volunteer for this project. I'm just gonna put the cape over him. If you don't have a cape, you can just use a towel. Oliver, do you mind taking your glasses off for me? Sure. Before we start, I'm going to define the top of the hair from the sides of the hair. And the way that I do that is I just comb this here, this ridge, we call it the parietal ridge. The top of the ridge is where the head starts to curve. It's where you get that dome. So I'm going to look at where his hair curves and just kind of comb it away. Get a close-up shot of that. So I'm just making a nice clean part. And I'll show you here how I'm going to comb the top hair away. Oliver's hair is pretty short, so it's not as big of a deal, but if he has longer hair, you want to try to make a clean part at the top of that parietal ridge, which is just a fancy word for where the head curves. Here, hold your head like this. See where it curves in my hand? Where my knuckles are? The top of the ridge is where his head curves away from me. This is where your water bottle comes in handy. If you're having trouble figuring out where the top of his head is, just spray with some water. And that will make it easier to define. Just think if you're parting your son's hair for a school picture, you want a nice clean part. If you're just giving him a little comb over, pretend like it's just a little comb over. Awesome. If your clippers have a toggle on them, leave it down so that the clippers themselves are in the open position. This is closed. This is open. I'm gonna use a size 3 guard on him. That's the size that I most commonly use on kids cuts. But if you're not sure if that's going to be long enough or short enough, you can run the clipper guard without the clippers. You can run the guard along the hair and see if it'll catch. I'm gonna go through this pretty quickly because Oliver only has so much patience, like most kids, so I try to keep kids cuts quick and simple. Now, the trick here is that you want to keep the top of the clippers pointed at the ceiling the entire time. That'll give you a clean line. With kids, it's good to keep their head stable. So I keep one hand on their head so they don't move away from me. So it's pointed at the ceiling. And sometimes I might turn, but if I have to turn and go another direction, I still want this part pointed at the ceiling if I'm turning. Fold the ear down. Turn your head a little bit. So I'm going around the curve of his ear, but I'm still keeping this pointed at the ceiling. See how I'm running off? You can hear it cut when it's cutting. I'm coming from behind the ear. His ear is safe because my fingers are covering it. I'm gonna try to catch all those little hairs. This is where your comb or your brush comes in handy. You'll push some of the hair out of the way, so you'll want to comb it back down. And go over it again. See how I'm not following his head, I'm just coming right off. Okay. Turn. you. Oliver's just sitting on a bar stool. See, right here, again, I'm just ignoring the curves of his head, going straight up. Straight up. I'm not following the curve up here either. His head curves, look, come back here. Stay just like that. If I put my hand flat, you see how my hand is like this? I'm just going straight up. If it's like this, straight up. Straight.
Mom, I'm on the edge of a stool.
Here, scooch back then. Oliver has a tricky hairline here. We'll come to that in a little bit. So I'm trying to catch these little hairs on the bottom. Come down below where the hair starts. I don't know if you guys can hear that on the camera. There. Turn again. You okay, Oliver?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, I'm folding his ear down to get behind it. So again, his head is straight. I'm just pointing the top of my clipper straight at the ceiling, coming right off. See, straight up. Straight up now, Tammy. Again, combing down the hair that you push out of the way. Start below where the hair is so that I can catch those little strays. Again, combing. The way you can tell if you've gotten all the hair is looking for dark spots. If you see any dark spots, those are long spots. So you just go over them again. That's what a barber does. So I've got the sides the length I want them, but there is still a little over the ear, and we'll come in closer so that you can see that. I'm going to show you how to clean up over the ear and turn, and how to get the back cleaned up too. So now I'm going to use my lineup clippers, and I'm just going to use about 1/4 inch of the end of the clippers, and this is what it's going to look like. So again, pointing up at the ceiling, make little short motions, and I'm just going to catch stuff around the edges. So these little hairs here are strays, so I'm going to clean those up with the blade. pulling his ear all the way down. I'm gonna get these little strays. And I'm just gonna scoop it. Now stop cutting, drawing an imaginary line here. I'm gonna stop cutting at my line. Back here. Same thing back here. I just want the strays. So I'm going in and scooping away. It looks like this from the front. Scoop. Scoop. My comb. Turn. Now we'll address this tricky hairline of his. Same thing, I'm just gonna turn. See? I'm not worried about making a hard line. I just want to gently catch the strays. If you do have a tapered comb, you can grab the hairs. Here, turn this way again.
This is almost done.
There's some fuzz here. Gonna get all the peach fuzz. This is almost done. Turn. Start in the front. I'm just gonna catch these little strays here. Kind of square that off. You can see the hair lifting. Lifting. Alright, see? Now he has a nice haircut, and if you want to even out the bangs, just give it a good spritz on top. Comb them straight down. And I recommend against trying to shorten the top too much. Just let it grow. If you want to do a more complicated kids cut, that's another tutorial. But this is just a cleanup. So I'm just going to follow where it's most even and just get the longest pieces. If you're not comfortable putting the scissors against his head like that, you can just lift them straight up so that they're pointed at the ceiling and just cut anything that looks like it's out of place. Now Oliver has a nice, neat haircut. it's neat around the edges. Show this. And he is good to go. Thank you for your time, Oliver.
You're welcome.